Hey everyone, before we dive into this powerful story, please hit that subscribe button to join our channel for more inspiring tales of strength and hope. I was struggling to breathe, the wail of the ambulance siren piercing my ears as I gripped my swollen abdomen, gripped by fear that I might lose my unborn child. The paramedics moved around me, their expressions a haze of focus and urgency, but it was my husband's voice, sharp and cold, that sliced through the chaos. "You're so dramatic," he mocked over the phone. "What kind of wife leaves us hungry just because she can't handle cooking dinner?" My chest tightened, not only from the physical pain, but from the crushing weight of his words. I was battling to save our baby's life, yet all he cared about was his empty plate. "Ma'am, you need to stay calm," a paramedic urged, his tone steady but tinged with worry. "It's vital for the baby." Tears stung my eyes as I nodded, clutching the phone so hard my knuckles turned pale. "I'm trying," I murmured, my voice breaking. "I'm doing all I can." But on the other end, he just scoffed. "Your best? It's never good enough, is it?" The call cut off, and I let the phone slip from my hand, my heart racing so fiercely I thought it might explode. The paramedic shot me a glance, pity, perhaps, or quiet anger on my behalf. "We'll reach the hospital soon," he said. "Just breathe." As the ambulance raced through the city, its sterile walls closing in, I felt suffocated by more than just my condition. His cruel words echoed relentlessly in my mind, each one a reminder of how diminished I'd become. Once I was a powerhouse, a marketing executive who thrived on high-pressure pitches and late-night strategy meetings. Now, I was a mere shadow of that woman, trapped in a marriage that eroded me bit by bit. But lying there with my baby's life hanging in the balance, a spark of defiance flickered inside me. I deserved better. Years ago, I was unstoppable, rising through the ranks at a bustling ad agency, my days fueled by coffee and the thrill of sealing deals. That's where I met him. Let's call him Tom. Back then, he was charming, always showing up with a latte when I was swamped, making me laugh with his sharp wit. We fell in love quickly, married within a year. When I got pregnant, he persuaded me to pause my career. "Just until the baby's born," he'd said, his arm around me, his voice so convincing. I trusted him, believed in our future. But as months passed, the man I loved vanished, replaced by someone cold and critical. If dinner wasn't ready, I was lazy. If the house wasn't perfect, I was failing. Each day, I shrank a little more. Now, in the ambulance, with the paramedics' steady hands and the siren's wail anchoring me, I saw how far I'd fallen. The hospital drew closer, offering a moment to breathe, to think. I wasn't just fighting for my baby, I was fighting for myself. The maternity ward was a blur of beeping monitors and quiet voices. Nurses moved with precision, their efficiency a stark contrast to the turmoil in my head. My OB/GYN, Dr. Taylor, hurried in, her calm presence a lifeline. "We're doing everything we can for you and your baby," she said, her voice firm yet compassionate. I nodded, a tear escaping down my cheek. "Thank you," I whispered, clinging to her words like a lifeline. Hours crawled by, marked by the steady hum of hospital machines. Dr. Taylor checked in frequently, her updates a blend of cautious hope and serious warnings. "The baby's stable for now," she said after one visit, her smile brief but reassuring. "But you must avoid stress. It's critical." I nodded, her words sinking in. Avoid stress? With Tom at home, that felt impossible. Alone in my hospital room, the silence was overwhelming, broken only by the faint ticking of a wall clock. My phone buzzed Tom again. "Don't expect me to show up," his text read. "Figure it out yourself." My hand shook as I stared at the screen. What kind of man says that when his wife is fighting for their child's life? A surge of anger, raw and empowering, coursed through me. I'd swallowed his criticism and indifference for too long. Now I was done. A nurse entered with a tray of food, her smile kind. "Time to eat," she said. "You need your strength." I looked at her, grateful for her simple warmth. "Can you call me Adele?" I asked, my voice soft but firm. She nodded. "Of course, Adele." As she left, I took a bite of the lukewarm hospital food, each swallow a small act of rebellion. I was eating for my baby, for the future I needed to create. The fluorescent lights flickered above, echoing the growing resolve within me. I didn't know how, but I had to escape, for my child, for myself. Tom's mother, let's call her Serafina, had always been a thorn in my side. A week earlier, at a tense family dinner, she'd criticized my cooking, her tone dripping with contempt. This roast is overcooked, Adele. For someone home all day, you'd think you'd have this mastered. Before I could respond, Tom joined in. She's right. You need to do better. I'd bitten my tongue, washing dishes alone while they laughed in the next room. When I later asked Tom why he never defended me, he shrugged. They're my family, Adele. Deal with it. Those words haunted me now, fueling the fire in my chest. I wasn't just fighting Tom. I was fighting a system that had tried to break me. The hospital room became my temporary refuge, but it couldn't protect me forever. The next morning, Serafina called, her voice as sharp as ever. Adele, you've been in that hospital long enough. Come home and do your duty. My duty? I was fighting for my baby's life, and she was worried about her son's meals. I'm here for the baby, I said, my voice trembling but resolute. This isn't optional. She scoffed. Excuses. You're a terrible wife, and it's time you acted like a proper one. The call ended, and I sat there, shaking with fury. Then Tom stormed in, his face twisted with annoyance. What's this about ignoring my mom's calls? He demanded. I gripped the bed rails, my heart pounding. I was resting, Tom. The doctor said I need to avoid stress. He laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. Stress? What about my stress, Adele? I'm the one working to support us. I couldn't hold back anymore. You think I don't work? I snapped, my voice sharp enough to surprise even myself. I'm carrying your child, Tom. That's work. And I'm done with you treating it like nothing. Before he could reply, Serafina swept in, her eyes icy. Really, Adele? Causing a scene? Women have had babies for centuries without all this fuss. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. I'm doing my best, I said, my voice low but steady. I'm carrying your grandchild, Serafina. Maybe you should think about that. She turned to Tom, her tone scathing. This is what you get for marrying someone so weak. That was the breaking point. Enough, I said, my voice slicing through the room. You've both said enough. Get out. They stared, stunned, but I held firm. Get out, I repeated, my gaze locked on Tom's. I need rest, and you're not helping. For the first time, I saw uncertainty in his eyes. They left, the door clicking shut, and I exhaled, trembling but resolute. In that moment, I realized they no longer knew me. I wasn't the woman who cowered under their judgment. I was done bending, done breaking. But I knew I couldn't do this alone. I needed help, someone to pull me from this darkness. The next morning, as sunlight filtered through the hospital curtains, the door creaked open. I braced myself, expecting another nurse, but instead, Morgana walked in, my old friend from my agency days. Her hair was shorter now, her confidence sharper, but her warm brown eyes were unmistakable. Adele, she said, her voice thick with worry. What happened? Emotions overwhelmed me. Morgana, how did you find me? I was visiting a client here and saw your name on the board, she said, pulling a chair to my bedside. What's going on? I took a deep breath, the words pouring out. It's Tom, his family. Years of criticism, control. I collapsed, Morgana. I could have lost the baby. Her face darkened, her jaw tight. That's not the Adele I knew. You were a superstar, outshining everyone at the agency. What happened to her? I wiped away a tear. I don't know. I don't feel like her anymore. Morgana leaned closer, her voice fierce. You're still her, Adele. You just need to remember. And you don't have to go back to that life. I can help. My heart skipped. Help? How? She smiled, a spark of determination in her eyes. I have an apartment downtown. It's empty, rent-free. You and the baby can stay there. A fresh start. The offer felt like a lifeline, but fear crept in. Tom won't let me go easily, I whispered. Morgana's expression hardened. Let me handle that. I know a lawyer, Sam Turner. He's a powerhouse in family law. He'll keep you safe. I stared at her, overwhelmed. Why are you doing this, Morgana? She squeezed my hand, her voice soft but firm. Because you're my friend, Adele. You were there for me when I was struggling. Now it's my turn. I won't let you fade away. As Morgana stepped out to make calls, I leaned back, my mind racing. For the first time in years, I felt hope, a burning flame. I wasn't alone. With Morgana's support, I could rebuild, rediscover the woman I'd lost. But the fight wasn't over. Tom would come for me, and I had to be ready. Weeks later, I stood in Morgana's apartment, a warm space filled with sunlight and the promise of a new beginning. The divorce hearing was behind me, brutal but victorious. Sam had been relentless, presenting every text, every threat, every instance of Tom's cruelty. The judge saw through Tom's attempts to paint me as unfit, and I walked out free, not just from him, but from his family's judgment. Now I was back at work, leading a project at Morgana's marketing firm. It felt like reclaiming myself, rediscovering a buried part of me. One afternoon, Morgana handed me a tiny green onesie. "For the little one," she said, her smile warm. I ran my fingers over the fabric, tears welling. "Morgana, I don't know how to thank you." She waved me off. "Your family, Adele. And speaking of family, I want you to meet someone." She led me to her office, where a kind-eyed man in his 50s waited. "This is Dylan," she said. "He's a therapist. Talking to him could help." I shook Dylan's hand, feeling gratitude and uncertainty. "Nice to meet you," I said. Over the next few months, therapy helped me untangle years of doubt and fear, rebuilding my confidence step by step. My son was born on a crisp morning, his tiny cries the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. Holding him, I knew every struggle had been worth it. Morgana was there, tears in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "No," I said, smiling through my tears. "We did." As I settled into my new life, I learned Tom had been fired, his behavior finally catching up with him. It wasn't revenge, it was justice. I was thriving, surrounded by friends who believed in me, leading projects that reminded me of my strength. My son and I were a team, ready for whatever came next. Thank you for listening to my story. It means everything to share this journey with you. If it resonated, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of resilience and hope. Here's to new beginnings.